The Chinese Navy is creeping closer to the Indian shore. It is keeping an eye on India's defense capabilities, trying to understand what the People's Liberation Army is up against. Yesterday, India test-fired Agni-5. It is India's indigenously developed intercontinental ballistic missile. The Agni-5 has a range of over 5,000 kilometers. Any missile that can travel over 5,500 kilometers enters intercontinental range, and this is where Agni-5 also fits in. The missile has been tested multiple times since 2012. In the year 2022, for example, the missile's nighttime capabilities were tested. Now it was tested for the MIRV technology. MIRV stands for Multiple Independently Targetable Re-Entry Vehicle. Now, this technology basically makes it possible for multiple warheads to be loaded on a single missile delivery system. These warheads can go on to hit different targets. They can also be programmed to hit the same target at once or one after the other. What this does is basically expands the missile's destructive potential. And there's more. MIRV can also penetrate missile defense systems, from sophisticated radars and communication systems to interceptor missiles. The equipped missiles can render the systems useless. Agni-5, and by extension India, has this technology. So does the United States, by the way, Russia, France, the UK, China, among others, which explains why there was a visitor near the Indian shores when the ICBM was being tested. The visitor was a Chinese spy ship, Xiangyang Hong 01. It sailed from Qingdao in China on the 23rd of February. It entered the Malacca Straits on the 6th of March and then was reportedly spotted between the Great Nicobar Islands and the Indian Peninsula on the 8th of March. On Sunday, this ship entered the Bay of Bengal. You see, India's Agni-5 test was carried out from the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island. This is off the coast of Odisha. When the Agni-5 was being launched, the Chinese spy ship was less than 260 nautical miles or 480 kilometers from the coast of Visakhapatnam. Doing what, you ask? Well, what do you think? This ship was spying on Agni-5, trying to collect as much data as possible about the range of India's intercontinental ballistic missile, trying to gauge its capability. And why do you think that is? Well, so that the People's Liberation Army, or the PLA, can know what it is actually up against in case of a war between India and China. And let's also not forget that Xiangyang Hong 01 is not the only Chinese spy ship that is currently creeping close to the Indian shores. There's also the Xiangyang Hong 03. That, remember, is the spy ship the Maldives was hosting. And where is this spy ship now, you ask? Report says spy ship number 2, Xiangyang Hong 03, is currently off the Sri Lankan coast, surveying the region, meaning that it is not too far from India. Was it also closely watching the Agni-5 launch? Of course, you should not be surprised that China has deployed as many ships possible to spy on India's ICBM. Time for some history now. The first generation Agni missiles were developed in the 1990s. They were deployed in the armed forces in mid-2000. Then the Agni-2 was developed, then 3 and 4, and these missiles had a range of up to 3,500 kilometers. Agni-5 has a longer range and it is deadlier. India's DRDO, the Defense Research and Development Organization, has said that the missile test was a success. The statement read, and I'm quoting, various radar stations tracked and monitored multiple re-entry vehicles. The mission accomplished the designed parameters. China, of course, is not thrilled. It has been keeping a close eye on India's defense prowess. In the year 2022, China had sent another spy ship to the Indian Ocean region before India's planned missile test. India decided to cancel its NOTAM. Last week, India issued a NOTAM alert. NOTAM stands for Notice to Air Missions. These are basically alerts issued designating an area as a no-fly zone. And last week's NOTAM was for the Bay of Bengal area. Surely the message was there was going to be a test. And the speculation started, questions started doing the rounds. What was it that India was testing? Some said it could be the K-4. It is a nuclear-capable missile that is supposed to be launched by submarines. Then Xiangyang Hong 01 entered the Indian Ocean region, and reports say the Chinese spy ship is equipped with a remote sensing equipment. It has sensors that can detect subsurface acoustic signatures. In other words, it can detect sound associated with the submarines. Data gathered from such devices is extremely helpful when devising defense and deterrence plans. It would be a gold mine for the Chinese Navy. On the day of the Agni 5 test, the Chinese spy ship was off Visakhapatnam, which is believed to be the base for India's nuclear submarines. The Chinese ship was perhaps hoping to detect a submarine activity. India fired Agni 5, which is also a nuclear-capable and now an MIRV-capable missile. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.